All right, so in this video, we're going to focus in on converting radians and degrees, but we're mainly going to focus in the idea of going from degrees to radians. And you'll notice at the bottom, I put some pretty important things. I know that pi is 180 degrees. I know 1 radian is 57.3 degrees. And I have these beautiful, nifty little formulas here that radians equals degree times pi over 180, and degree equals to the radians times 180 over pi. And then we also, of course, know that 2 pi is the number of radians per circle. And we counted that by saying there's 1 radian, there's 2 radians, there's 3 radians, there's 4, there's 5, there's 6, and there's that little tiny piece that is extra there. Okay, and that's that extra radian, that is the 0.28, 6.28 for 2 pi. Now let's go ahead and do some conversions, and we will check with our unit circle that's in front of us to help us out. So let's go ahead and start by working with 50 degrees, okay? So I want to start by saying, well, what is 50 degrees as some amount of radians? Well, there's a lot of different ways we can do this. I can come down here, I can use the conversion formula. I can say, well, radians equals to degree times pi over 180. So I can say, okay, well, that is 50 pi over 180. And what I want to do when I do this is I want to simplify the 50 over 180. Well, I can divide by 10. Okay, I can divide by 10, and that's going to give me 5 pi over 18. And 5 pi over 18 is about as simple as I'm going to get. But what I can do is I can type it in and I can make some sense of it. Let's see if it works. So 5 pi over 18. That gives me 0.87 radians. Okay, so 0.87 radians. 0.87 radians. Not quite 1 radian. So notice what happens. This is 50 degrees, and 50 degrees is somewhere right around here. And I know it's somewhere right around there because 1 radian is 57 degrees. Okay, 57.3 degrees. So 50 degrees is only a small fraction of the 57 degrees that makes up a radian, or about 87% of it. And that would make sense that that works out. Now, could I change 50 degrees to radians another way? Yeah, I could. I could say 50 degrees is what fraction of 57.3? And I can approximate it. This is more of an approximate method. And so we can come over here and we can say, okay, well, let's take 50 and divide it by 57.3. Guess what? It comes out to be exactly the same. That would give me a different way of doing it, and that would give me the decimal way of doing it. So that would be 0.87 radians, right? Let's try that again. Let's just do another one real quick. I'm going to erase what we have here. We're going to look at one that is a little bit larger, okay? And so if I was to look at, for example, let's go to 300 degrees. So let's go to 300 degrees. Now, one thing I know about 300 degrees is this is 90, this is 180, this is 270. I know that 300 degrees is somewhere right around here. So if I estimate this, I know that 300 degrees is approximately 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and some change. So 5 point something radians, 5 point ... radians. Let's go ahead and check this out. I know, we're going to check it both ways. I know that 300 degrees can be divided into radians by dividing it by 57.3. So let's do it that way first. Okay, and then I can get that change right away off that 5 point something. So let's go ahead and type in 300 divided by 57.3 degrees, and that gives me 5.235 or 5.24 radians. So this would equal to 300, based off of what we're doing in this case, 300 would equal to 5.24 radians. Okay, and now that I know it's 5.24 radians, we can go ahead and use our radians formula and see if that works as well. So the radians would be the degrees, which is 300 pi over 180. Okay, and we can go ahead and simplify. I could divide by 10, so that cuts out the zeros. That gives me 30 pi over 18. And I know that 30 and 18 are divisible by 6. So I could get 5 pi over 18 divided by 6 is 3. 5 pi over 3. Okay, so 5 pi over 3. Now, let's go ahead and verify it to make sure it's exactly the same. So I can come into another spot here, and let's type in 5 pi over 3. Do we get the exact same answer? 5 pi over 3 gives us pretty much the same answer because the first one is mainly an approximation. So we have some options. When we change degrees to radians, we can divide by 57.3. Okay. We can divide by the 57.3 down here, or we can use this formula where we take degrees, we multiply it by pi over 180, and we do a little conversion. Hope that helps with converting radians to degrees.